Dr. Kethavar adjusted his bioscanner for the third time, his four crystalline eyes narrowing in disbelief at the readings. The human specimen, designated as Sergeant Marcus Chen according to the data files, sat calmly on the medical examination table, his vital signs displaying what should have been impossible patterns. "The readings must be corrupted," muttered Dr. Zilnex, her translucent tentacles writhing with anxiety as she cross-referenced the data. No sentient species can maintain such stable neural patterns while experiencing tissue damage of this magnitude. The Galactic Medical Consortium had been studying various species' pain responses for decades, cataloging the precise thresholds at which different civilizations would become incapacitated. The Velthari collapsed at pain level 3.2. The mighty Krogans, despite their warrior culture, couldn't function beyond 4.7. Even the stoic ethereals tapped out at 6.1 on the universal pain scale. But humans? The data they'd collected suggested something far beyond the realm of scientific possibility. Sergeant Chen rolled his shoulder, the movement producing an audible crack that made both alien scientists flinch. "Doc, are we about done here? I've got training exercises in 20 minutes. Dr. Kethavar exchanged a look with his colleague. They had been running tests on Chen for 2 hours now, starting with minor stimuli and gradually increasing intensity. The human had remained conversational throughout procedures that would have rendered most species unconscious from shock. "Sergeant," Dr. Kethavar began, his voice carrying the harmonic frequencies of his species' concern, "our instruments indicate you are currently experiencing pain levels equivalent to 8.9 on our standardized scale. This should be debilitating." Chen shrugged. "Yeah, it stings a bit. Nothing compared to that time I got food poisoning from a gas station burrito, though." The two scientists stared at him in bewilderment. "Perhaps," Dr. Zilnex suggested, "we should observe humans in their natural combat environment. These controlled conditions may not accurately reflect their true capabilities." 3 days later, they found themselves aboard the human vessel Indomitable, embedded with Chen's unit during what the humans casually referred to as a routine patrol of the contested Kepler 442 system. The aliens had expected to observe humans in minor skirmishes, perhaps witnessing small injuries and how the species dealt with discomfort. They had not expected the Krogan ambush. The attack came without warning. A coordinated strike from 3 Krogan dreadnoughts emerging from behind the system's gas giant. The Indomitable shuddered under the impact of plasma batteries as alarms blared throughout the ship. "All hands to battle stations." The captain's voice echoed through the corridors as crew members sprinted to their positions. Chen and his squad were tasked with repelling boarders who had managed to breach the lower decks. Dr. Kethavar and Dr. Zilnex followed at what they deemed a safe distance, their instruments ready to record human pain responses under genuine combat stress. The firefight was brutal and chaotic. Krogan warriors, massive armored beings that stood nearly 8 feet tall, poured through the breach like a living avalanche of destruction. Their weapons discharged bolts of superheated plasma that could melt through steel. Chen's squad responded with practiced efficiency, taking cover behind bulkheads and returning fire with their kinetic weapons. Then disaster struck. A Krogan plasma bolt struck the bulkhead directly beside Chen, the explosion launching him across the corridor. He hit the opposite wall with bone-crushing force before crumpling to the floor. Both alien scientists rushed forward with their scanners, expecting to document a human's final moments. The readings made them gasp in unison. Chen's left fibula had snapped completely in two. His ribs showed hairline fractures. His neural activity spiked with pain signals that registered 11.7, far beyond what their instruments had been calibrated to measure. "Sergeant Chen is finished," Dr. Zilnex whispered to her colleague. "No known species can function with these levels of trauma and pain." That's when Chen pushed himself to his feet. "Ah, hell," he muttered, looking down at his left leg, which was clearly bent at an unnatural angle. "That's gonna hurt in the morning." The aliens watched in horrified fascination as Chen tested his weight on the broken leg, grimaced, then picked up his rifle. "What are you doing?" Dr. Kethavar practically shrieked. "Your leg is fractured. Your pain levels are off our charts." Chen glanced at the aliens with something that might have been amusement. "Yeah, well, tell you what. I'll take a sick day after we finish killing these Krogan bastards." He turned back toward the ongoing firefight. "Williams, how's our ammo situation?" "Running low, Sarge," came the reply from across the corridor. "Then we better make every shot count." Chen limped forward on his broken leg, his rifle steady in his hands despite the agony that their instruments said should have killed him outright. What followed defied every principle of xenobiology that the two scientists had studied. Chen continued to fight with tactical precision, moving from cover to cover, coordinating his squad's defensive efforts and methodically eliminating Krogan boarders. His pain readings never dropped below 10.8, yet his combat effectiveness remained unimpaired. When the last Krogan fell, Chen finally allowed himself to lean against a wall, breathing heavily. "Okay," he said to the stunned alien scientists. "Now I could use that medical attention." Dr. Kethvar stared at his instruments, then at Chen, then back at his instruments. "I don't understand. How is this possible? Your species shouldn't be able to function under these conditions." Chen smiled grimly as two medics arrived with a stretcher. "Doc, I think you might be missing something important about humans." "What's that?" "Sometimes the thing that hurts worse than the pain is the idea of letting your people down." Chen settled onto the stretcher with a grunt. "Pain's just information. What you do with that information, that's what separates a survivor from a casualty." As the medics carried Chen away, the two alien scientists stood in the battle-scarred corridor, their fundamental understanding of biology turned upside down. "We need to revise our entire database on human physiology," Dr. Zilnek said quietly. Dr. Kethvar nodded slowly. "And perhaps we need to reconsider what we think we know about the relationship between pain and determination." Later, in their report to the Galactic Medical Consortium, they would write, "Human pain tolerance appears to be less about biological limitations and more about psychological resilience. Recommend immediate reclassification of human species from standard durability to extreme hazard rating for any potential conflicts." The report would become required reading at every military academy in the galaxy, though most species would continue to doubt its conclusions until they met humans in battle themselves. After all, some lessons can only be learned through experience.